Hello everybody, today we have patch notes, but it's not what it looks like, right? We're not getting any changes yet, but they have announced in this set of patch notes, the next set of patch notes. Haven't given us specific details, but they've sort of outlined what their goals are. And I'll be honest, I really like the design of the new cards for the new expansion, but I was not excited to play the game. Because I didn't think they were going to take advantage of the standard rotation and actually make the new cards as playable as they should be. Because right now, the Starcraft set cards are so strong that almost every deck is a Starcraft deck, right? We're at the end of a standard rotation with every expansion that we can have within that rotation, plus Starcraft, and almost every deck is a Starcraft deck. So it's pretty obvious the Starcraft cards are really good, and the new cards just don't seem like they'd be able to keep up. A lot of them seem very fair, a lot of them are very late game, but yeah, they have addressed those concerns, thankfully. If you're into Battlegrounds, there's Battlegrounds changes in here. I'm not going to go over those because I don't play that mode, sadly. Or maybe fortunately, I don't really know. So, there's no balance changes for Standard or Wild in this patch, but, like I said, they're updating us on what they're doing for the Standard rotation to ensure like post-rotation is good and fun. So, they're changing and toning down Terran and Zerg heroes of Starcraft cards, which means Protoss isn't getting nerfed. That's honestly good, because Protoss Mage isn't very good. Protoss Priest, apart from the aggro deck, isn't very good. And the aggro deck doesn't even take advantage of like Mothership or anything, so it's not fun. It's not interesting. It's just an aggro deck with chargers. And Protoss Druid just doesn't exist. But yeah, Terran and Zerg, because realistically, Hunter gets too many stats out early, Death Knight just overwhelms you with Infestor buffs, and Terran is just... they go wide, they summon little guys, they play their big starship for almost no mana, and there's not much you can really do unless you're also playing a starship deck or a Zerg deck. But yeah, those are being toned down, they're being changed, and I'm excited to see what they do. One of the changes that I thought about would be increasing the mana cost of the starship. However, that really punishes the Great Beyond cards, right? The original starship cards get punished because of Starcraft sins, essentially. So I don't know how they'd work around that. But I'm interested to see what they would do. They also are looking at these. So, older cards and decks that we expect will be too powerful after rotations. I'm not sure exactly what decks they're looking at. Maybe they're scared of Hambuff Paladin, even though they're losing Muscletron. Not entirely sure, but it's good that they have sort of like the forethought to look past just the Starcraft cards. But also, I think this is the most important one. Well, maybe the Starcraft's more important, but this is also huge. This is something I'm really worried about, because with the new expansion we're getting stuff like the Wild Gods, which are huge late game minions with good payoffs, but Bob exists. There's Bob. Zilliax exists. There's Zilliax. So, powerful neutral legendary cards with harsh play patterns like Zilliax and Bob. Zilliax, whenever they're referencing this, I'm pretty sure they just mean unkilliax, right? Unkilliax is not necessarily fun to play against or fun to play with. I played a good amount of Terran Warrior, I played a good amount of Taunt Warrior, and like Zilliax is good in those decks. Is it fun to play? No, not really. Bob, you're just going to play your Wild God and get your Wild God bobbed. It's going to be stolen. So it's good that they're removing this. You know, we lost Reska for a reason. They're not keeping it around for a reason. It's not a fun play pattern having your stuff stolen. So Bob being changed is really good. I don't know what necessarily they're going to do. I'd be happy enough if they just... would I? I think Bob would be a lot less toxic to play against if it left the minion on board and gave you a copy. But we'd still see Bob in pretty much every late game deck at that point, because you would just be trying to steal the opponent's wild gods. So, yeah, probably still not a great option, but it's an option. It makes it a lot less toxic to play against because it doesn't just take away your win condition or your big minion. And there's other changes. Raza the Resealed is getting a major rework due to its interaction with the Priest Imbue hero power. I'm really interested what this hero power is going to be. Really, really interested. But yeah, Raza's getting a rework. I think Zeddy was talking about it, and he said, yeah, it's good that this is being reworked. So yeah, good foresight from the devs here to not leave a completely broken interaction. Going back to this though, the cards before the Starcraft cards, you know, there's some cards that are still going to be in the rotation that aren't fun, right? And one of the cards that comes to mind, which I love playing, I'll be honest, I'll admit it, and I hate playing against, obviously everyone hates playing against it, is Puppet Theater. I had to Google it there, I'm going to be honest. I kept thinking Magical Dollhouse, but that's the Druid one. Yeah, Puppet Theater. Puppet Theater is not fun to play against. It doesn't take the minion, which is good, that's great. It's not doing Reska or Bob's job, but it still feels really toxic to play against, because you obviously want to play your powerful cards with powerful effects, but if they have Puppet Theater, it just makes that play feel bad, right? You shouldn't feel bad about playing your win condition or your powerful cards. So maybe Puppet Theater gets changed, maybe it gets nerfed. I think a mana nerf would be good. It would help stop decks from being able to just slot it in wherever. But man, the play pattern's not good. But you know, they said they're nerfing other cards and they're looking at Zilliax and Bob, which means they're more than likely have their eyes on Puppet Theater as well. So yeah, that's about it. This has made me a lot more excited for the next expansion. Let me tell you, a lot more excited, especially with the Warrior Dragon card that relies on being resurrected. Looks super fun, but the idea of just having that yoinked, kind of sad. And I know you can play the egg location to sort of create a copy of it, so you can counterplay it getting stolen, but it's still annoying, right? So that's the changes that are upcoming. Hopefully they go well, and hopefully the next expansion and the standard rotation are smooth and we get a decent metagame, because right now having 3 classes in total 3 classes out of all the classes in Hearthstone currently have a positive win rate. So I'm excited for a little bit of a meta mix up, bit of a change up, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. See ya.